What is it that needs to happen for innovation in manufacturing for a country which has such spectacular architectural and historical tradition, historical tradition of architecture and engineering, to have practically nothing for the last several tens of years? What needs to happen?
Actually, in my personal experience, if I were to go to a shop and look at a product and then pick it up and then hold it in my hand, I can pretty much with 90 or 95% accuracy predict whether the product was made in India or not. The point that I'm trying to, in terms of ideation, coming up with new ideas, creative thinking, creativity, we are right up there. But when that ideation translates into a product, when it comes to design, somehow, despite having a large, pretty much the largest population of engineers in the whole world, we fail to have finesse, the elegance that is required for design. That I can straight away say is something that needs to be fixed. Because eventually, manufacturing is the easy part, because once you've prototyped it and proof of concept exists, you know that you can manufacture it, it is manufacturable, and especially if you're looking to protect your IP, without the product being manufacturable, the patent will not get granted. For instance, I can say my idea is to build a escalator to space. But then that's just theoretical, or a perpetual motion machine. Not possible, because there could be losses, energy losses, etc. So that would become abstract. So generally, for a product, once you have the proof of concept, you know you can manufacture it. Then it is really the design challenge that we need to address. Somehow we have this chelta hai attitude when it comes to design, and we think, and there are two challenges in that. We think engineers are the best designers. Engineers should be doing the design. Whereas globally, it is heterogeneous groups that get involved in design. People talk about T knowledge. The best designers and innovators and ideators are those who have deep knowledge in one subject and a spread of knowledge in some other subject, because you never know where the next idea, the next great idea is going to come from. Just 1 week back, Bhatta is also, I keep calling him Bhatta, that's his full name, Bhatre is also an avid golfer. I used to be an avid golfer. I saw an advertisement for working on your swing, which a club which has IoT device club which will exactly tell you what is wrong with your design, with your swing. Such a simple idea, but they have executed brilliantly. So it is not enough so to say, I'm again talking about Atal Innovation Mission. Atal Innovation Mission also needs to encompass design elements, inculcate design philosophy in our children and our youth, because that eventually is going to lead to products in the market. And once you're looking at the marketplace, there is no escaping competition. That is another area where we are lacking. We kind of really don't understand, all these elements of marketing that kicks in, because as engineers, we are firstly never happy with our product, with our design. I'm also guilty of committing that cardinal sin. And then we make it so big and so challenging, the idea. We want it to be, it's like I said, churning the ocean. We want everything, all features to be there, and we are too feature driven, whereas the market never thinks features. Features is once the product has received acceptance in the marketplace. And from the marketing standpoint, there is so much more segmentation, your target audience, your go-to-market strategy, your positioning, product positioning, differentiation. All of that needs to come into play. That's what will make a great product successful innovation in the marketplace. So it is and once it is successful in the marketplace, automatically manufacturing will fall in line.
How we can avoid this churning of the ocean and be far more pinpointed? I'm sure all of us are guilty of trying to build or solve world hunger, as one of my bosses once upon a time used to say. An example of not to do it, but be very specific when it comes to both patent filing as well as innovation.
See, like I said, in fact, I'll give an example. Somebody came to me just 2 days back, talked about a brilliant biotech idea. Now, the person who came up with the idea was talking about, obviously all these viruses and these bacteria, they become immune to the drug. They become drug resistant over a period of time. And she has come up with this idea for addressing this and trying to predictively come up with new drugs, new molecules, which will make sure that this drug resistance, if it has become resistant to a particular drug, you quickly alter your formulation so that the efficacy of the drug itself increases. Brilliant idea. Now, end to end was what the idea was. I said, you have to split it up, into multiple sub-ideas. So the first one was about an algorithm, a mathematical algorithm for identifying a target molecule, a chemical molecule which would be effective in addressing that resistance that the bacteria has developed. And then talk about protect a AI-driven model method that they have. So unless and until you split it up, your intellectual property protection will not be effective for two reasons. One, IP, the whole thing about IP, I said earlier that it should not end up as a string of numbers, something that is a grant, that, a patent that has been granted to you, a unique number. Reason being, unless and until that gives you leverage and competitive advantage in the marketplace, it is useless. So the point with this kind of splitting up is twofold. One, you will make sure that you don't violate somebody else's rights. And two, you occupy in the landscape small spaces that exist, which nobody is occupying. And thereby, once you occupy that space, eventually, any idea for that matter, any product, the avenues in which technology is going to evolve, engineering, the idea is going to move. It's not rocket science. But by breaking it up, you're also making sure that if somebody else infringes your patent, your idea, your property, you can litigate against them. You can sue them in a court of law. So it's two-pronged. One is you are creating a fence around your idea to make sure that others can't break in. And while doing that, you're also making sure that you are not infringing or stepping on somebody else's rights that exist already, pre-existing rights. And if somebody does violate eventually, because technology is going to head in that direction, and it is very easy once you're looking at it from a value proposition perspective, it's very easy. Everything will be either bigger, better, faster, simpler, safer. It's not very difficult to figure out, if you have an idea, whether that idea has a concrete value proposition or not, to start with. Having done that, unless and until you think through the idea, you will always have suboptimality in your IP protection. And once your IP is suboptimal, others will actually latch on to your idea and they will leapfrog, and then you will miss out, the bandwagon.